right, guys. Welcome to episode 3. Like always, I have my man Zuno. I have my man Fernie.
What's up?
And today's guest, we have Pablo Hernandez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Thank you.
So what's up, bro? Well, how was your day yesterday?
It's good. A lot of work. Long
Yeah?
day.
Dude, I went to go see Scream Part 6.
Oh, tú sí puedes ir a las películas y nosotros no.
What?
What is this?
Wait, all of a sudden,
Well, you get to go to the movies,
like
right?
I'm holding you back now, eh?
Wow, bro.
Like
Wait.
I'm holding you.
Scream 6 is in the theaters?
Oh, yeah, bro. Ayer hizo, it was the first day. It was yesterday.
That's because I never knew it was coming out.
I'm sorry. Anyways, so today's beer of the day, we're doing a Dos Equis Lager Especial. Yeah, it's a pretty good beer. What do you think?
That's good. I like those Equis.
What are you drinking, Pablo?
Coffee. I got some coffee right here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your own mix or you buy it from 7-Eleven?
I make my own coffee.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like you have a special way to make it or no?
Black. I like black coffee.
That's right, baby.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Since I've been a baby.
You know what,
I like black
Same
coffee.
here, bro. I don't put
think-
anything,
I
just
think
straight up
people
coffee.
that drink black coffee are hooligans, way.
Nah. I used to drink black coffee as a baby with the dad of me and have. Yeah.
All right.
That's just what
Yeah,
soft
pues sí.
people say, bro.
What? Wait.
Es que café, negro no
Es
es
para,
café.
es para,
güey.
para despertar nomás.
Yeah.
güey. You drink it for a reason, bro.
Wait, pero black is like inmates we take
Nah.
it.
No.
No.
we don't put Pepsi in it or nothing, bro. Just straight up black coffee.
I don't know, bro.
Natural.
Black coffee, no. Like
Natural.
I'll take a little bit of Splenda, a little bit of cream.
I wish I could put a little bit of Zuno in there.
Yeah, so
Can't.
sweet.
Ya que es.
Yes.
When it's in Gurney.
So I don't know if people saw the Facebook post that we had posted for the first time that we did our podcast that we were practicing. My man Zuno spoke about his little brother being in an accident. Well, this is that little brother, and we're gonna interview him on how it all started, what happened, what the motive was, who was at fault. You know, it's all up to him, whatever he wants to share. So let's start off. I mean,
Pero que, ahorita, before starting, can we,
oh yeah, well,
well, say a little hi to people and shit
Oh,
before we
yeah,
get
yeah.
started, bro.
Go ahead, go
And,
ahead.
I just want to say what's up to my homie, G, Jesus Gonzalez.
okay.
Dodger Blue all day, baby.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
ready. Saludos al chapete del Joey Iniguez. Dodger Blue, homie. Ya,
Hey, but I hope they're watching, bro.
ya deja el chorizo, homie.
I hope they're watching.
Oh, they're watching.
Yeah, sabe.
They're watching. My homeboy G from Chandler, Arizona.
Okay.
Saludos, homie.
Saludos.
Cheers.
Hey, but let's just hope they're watching and they're
Cheers.
subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them
No,
subscribed.
no. I've been getting some feedback, some comments from these
Sí,
guys.
no,
Oh,
yeah. Que te
That's
gusta
good,
el
yeah.
chile. Que la, yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Saludos a la soon to be comadre Mel G.
Oh, shit.
My
The Mel G, see?
Danny. They had COVID. Pero esa Mel G, bro, COVID, no para de chingar, bro. Caga el palo todo el tiempo, bro. Enferma o no enferma, bro.
Yeah, you got that out of your
Yeah,
system?
I'm good. I'm good now, guys. Okay, I mean,
Yeah, you feel good?
it's just you want to suck up all the glory, bro. You know?
No, that's like about the glory. I want to get into the subject,
No,
right?
yeah, but
So, to get it started, I'm going to let you guys know, this was about, 13 years ago?
It was in 2010.
2010, so
Yeah.
you were
20 years old.
20 years old?
Yes.
Speaking to the mic, bro.
Oh yeah, 20 years old. It was 2010.
Okay, so tell us how it all started.
I'm just walking out of Circle K.
Yeah.
And I got, I guess you can say, misidentified.
Yeah.
By a police officer because I'm walking out with the soda in my hand, and he's like, "Hey, you stop right there!" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to search you. You, I think you match a profile
Where was this at?
in Imperial."
In Imperial. Okay,
Yeah.
so Imperial.
And I told him, "You have no probable cause." And he's like, "No, yeah, I want to search you." And I point to behind me and I tell him, "Look, the clerk is right there. He's not waving his hand scared. There's no alarm triggered. So you're not gonna search me. I'm gonna go to my car and I'm gonna do my thing."
Yeah, no
And-
probable cause, nothing.
Yeah, I told him like I know my legal rights. Just because you think I'm dressed a certain way doesn't mean anything.
So you had no bra or what? Like
No, just because I've
I'm
always
dressed a certain way. Like,
I've always liked dressing kind of like how the hip hop style
Yeah.
of my way of dressing, right? So yeah, you can get profiled like, oh, maybe he's got something on him or whatever.
Cholo,
Because
yeah.
So he came to you and said you fit the description.
Yes.
Of what?
No, he didn't say.
Was the convenience store getting robbed where you went in?
No,
coming out?
nothing. No, just
he just said you fit a description.
I'm just walking out of
Okay.
as I'm walking out of the gas station, minding my own business. He's just parked outside of the gas station, but he wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And he's just standing outside of his unit, and he just,
Okay.
that goes on. So I'm holding on to my soda in my hand like this, and I'm telling him like, no, you're not gonna search me. Like, you have no reason to. And he's like, yeah. So when I point at him like that, and I said, you're gonna get back into your unit, and you're gonna go do your day.
It's like you're
And I'm going to go to my car and continue with my night.
Yeah.
Go do your day. So when I point at him like that, after like 3 times, he yanks me from the wrist and turns me around, and he's like, you're going in. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, I feel threatened, so you're gonna go in for a 5150. And I'm just confused because I don't even know what that even means.
So he already diagnosed you with something that
Yeah.
Okay.
So he starts driving me around for a while
In his
unit.
Okay.
And just starts driving me around for no reason in his unit.
Are you handcuffed?
Yeah, I'm sitting
you
in the
cuffed
back.
in the back?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the back. And he's just driving me around, but he doesn't take me to the station, nowhere, until he drops me off at the mental health in El Centro at the
Behavioral health.
the behavioral health, right? So I'm in there, and I just start talking to the lady that's checking me in and one of the other workers. So I kind of like sweet talk my way into borrowing a phone.
okay.
And I borrow a phone, and I end up calling a friend of mine, and I say, hey, this is what happened to me. I'm here. And that friend of mine was...
So once you get taken in like that, you don't get a phone call at all?
No.
I don't know.
No,
Procedures
well,
as mental health.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because from the moment of your arrest up until you get evaluated and released, you belong to the state or the government, so you don't have...
But at that point, you weren't under arrest, right?
Well, I was...
Did you read your Miranda rights?
No, I never got a Miranda right
Okay,
read
so-
to me, so I wasn't really considered in custody, right?
Mhm.
So I end up explaining at least to my friend where I'm at, and then when they end up getting notice that I'm on the phone, they take the phone away, and she just says, where is he at? And they tell him, oh, he's in behavioral health, but he's not going to be let go until 72 hours after he starts his evaluation.
They do a 72-hour hold away.
Yeah.
So while I'm there all night, they're just bringing me like 4 different magazines, and each one is of a different thing. One is like of painting, one of is like
Times and all that.
hunting,
Yeah.
one of them is about
Hustler.
guns.
Hustler.
No, just I guess they're
Playgirl.
I guess they're trying to test. I guess they're kind of trying to test what psyche you have before they take you to your eval. Because why is one
So
cosmopolitan? Why is one guns? Etc. Like that, right?
The evaluation, it's not here then.
No. They didn't have a specialist to
okay,
evaluate me, so the
They have to
evaluation.
transport you to.
Yeah, they had to get transported to San Diego
Okay.
for the evaluation to begin.
So
Alright.
so from
So they haven't diagnosed them.
I haven't
and
been
they're still
diagnosed.
holding them.
I haven't been diagnosed or read my Miranda yet. So
you're not under custody for whatsoever. So basically, the officer brought it upon himself to
Yeah.
take you to behavioral
yes.
health due to what he saw and what he felt.
He saw as a threat.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so once you're you're there for a day, or how long were you in there?
I was just there. No, I was just there for the night because
For the night.
they needed it to be morning.
Yeah.
So that they could transport me to.
Now, did they take you to a hospital here before they transported you out?
They took me to a hospital in our county and to prep me for transport, and they injected me in each shoulder. I don't know, whatever like sedative or whatever
To calm you down or something?
for me to not respond combative towards the doctors
Or the transport.
Or the transport. Yes, for me to be calm for transport. And this whole time I'm thinking to myself, I've never shown any single sign of aggression at all. And then
So you weren't fighting. You weren't arguing.
dude, you're arresting. I got arrested for buying a Dr. Pepper.
No. I get you.
Like,
right?
we understand
Of
that.
course,
We're
it
getting
might,
that.
It might make you a little upset, right?
You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is just confusing me because you would say like, oh, well, I was all drunk and I had buying beers and for 40 and I was going to fight the officer. Well, okay, for sure. All that makes, but it's a Dr. Pepper, dude. I'm 20 years old. I can't even buy liquor yet.
So now they're injecting you, and you're going to be transported to San Diego.
To San Diego
from Brawley.
Yes, from Brawley. And
Okay.
I'm asking the EMT once I'm getting taken into the ambulance.
Yeah.
I'm like, where am I supposed to go? And they're like he's like, says here you're going to Promise Hospital. And I'm like, all right. So they tell me get into the cab, and I get into the back of the ambulance. I get into the gurney, and they strap me and secure me from my ankles to my waist. They just strap me in.
Okay.
But they leave me from the waist to my completely free. Not even, no bound or nothing. And I'm just, okay. So as soon as they close the doors, I look quickly around the cab, and I don't see no oxygen tank, no nothing. So I reach and I open the drawer, and I move my hand inside, and all the drawers are empty. So by the time they get into the cab and close the doors, I close everything, and I'm just sitting calm down like this, like if nothing's going on.
So there's no other paramedic in the back?
There's nobody in the back, and there's nothing in there, not even a Band-Aid, not even a popsicle stick or nothing at all. So if something was to happen, if I'm to have an alert,
let's say you have a cardiac arrest,
if I'm to have an allergic reaction to the medication.
No medical supplies.
There's no medical supplies. It's basically just
It's just
Like
an
a transport-
It's
a
just an
transport
empty
vehicle.
ass
It's a-
ambulance.
yes, basically, yes.
Okay.
So then, also, the driving behind me should be the arresting officer if you're doing it by protocol, right? Because I belong to government or state.
Well, yeah, I don't know if.
Right at this point, the actual behavioral health, the state has all liability from
bro.
you. It's away from the PD. If
Well,
it's not a one-on-one. It's
Yeah.
not a. It's
what,
not
what,
a.
what I was told later on was that the
arresting,
not the arresting officer, but the arresting
like Imperial PD.
one of them was supposed to accompany escort the unit all the way up until I got dropped off, because for safety reasons as well. Like if I was to be,
And supposedly,
Combative.
if you're combative and hostile, for them to actually put a sedative for you to calm down, there should be an officer.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, yes, okay.
You think.
So while I'm in there, I'm just sitting in there like I'm in an empty cab. So back then,
And you got how many drivers? You got two guys in the
yeah,
front.
two in the front.
Okay,
Yeah, two in the front. So there's two in the front, and so this whole time, since I can move my body, I'm turning around like that, and using their windshield and their rearview mirror just to talk to them, because I ain't trying to fall asleep. I don't even know what's going on because it's just so confusing in general. So I'm giving them, sarcastic and snarky comments, like telling them like, how much does it pay to be one of these like taxi services? Because you're driving me to a hospital, right? But I'm not sick. And the guy's just giving me dumb responses back. And then I'm like, do you have any water or something? Like if I feel thirsty or something, like I don't have an IV line in me, like what do you have in here to help me in case something happens? So the guy starts just getting kind of annoyed. So after we pass the checkpoint at the Border Patrol, I tell him, so what's gonna happen when my 72 hours are done? Like, am I supposed to walk home like the Incredible Hulk in the 70s sitcom, all confused, or are you gonna drive me back home and say that you're sorry for misidentifying me? And all of a sudden he says, "Oh, don't worry. Who said you were promised you're gonna make it to that hospital?"
What the fuck?
And he smiles, and then all of a sudden I just hear, boom. And I turn because the whole time I'm looking back like that because my back is facing my back is supposed to be facing the paramedics. I'm supposed to be facing the doors. As I turn, I face the cab doors. The doors are open, and the gurney slingshots itself out. And I remember grabbing the rails, grabbing the rails, and I remember just saying, like talking to God and just saying, I say, God, please forgive me for anything I've done wrong in my life because I'm not ready to go yet. And then all of a sudden the tires touch and it launches
launches you.
slingshots itself. If we're going 65, that launched out at 65. It's inertia.
Mhm.
I remember there was a black Pontiac Grand Am convertible, faded clear coat that just skeeted out of the way, quemando llanta to make sure it didn't hit me. And then after that, I saw a green Explorer, and it also swerved out of the way to not hit me because we're on the Interstate 8.
Oh my God, was this crazy?
Heading up the mountain to San Diego because that's where I'm supposed to be headed to start an evaluation.
Dude, so you're strapped in, you're holding on for dear life, and
Like if you're luging, like if you're on a sled, like if you're in a
Bro.
bobsled, bro. Yeah, like if you're in a bobsled. So there's no way that you can.
and you're heading straight down. You're not. You haven't fallen. You have. No, you're still
I
falling.
just going against traffic. Basically, I'm facing traffic and cars are swerving out of the way. So after the expedition swerves out of the way, I guess that was enough wind gusts
Yeah.
that the bed started spinning in circles. So it started spinning.
But you're still on your wheels.
I'm still on the wheels, but it's starting to spin like a clock, right? There's gravel on the road, so I just think that gravel hit a tire because all of a sudden the bed starts going bah, bah, bah. It was the most painfulest first impact when I just onto the street. And after I just started going boom, 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 and I'm just basically just slamming myself onto the. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You just have to take the impacts because there's nothing else you can do.
Nothing else you can do, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
So then
Damn.
the bed finishes up at the second barricade after the Border Patrol checkpoint, after the little
The shack.
post, after the shack, the second post. My bed ends up there face down, and I'm bleeding out from my ears, my nose, my mouth, from my shoulder, my hip, my head, my scalp. And there was a big red spray on the barricade, and it stayed there for about a year.
Yeah.
People could have thought it was spray paint. That was my blood. So I would drive by there and stare at it and be like, "That's a piece of me."
Damn.
And until it rained it and it washed itself away, right? So it's face down, and there was June 23rd. And
Is that the last thing you remember? Or
no.
You're still conscious?
I'm still conscious. So basically, a doctor was on his way with his family to SeaWorld because it's all in the paperwork. His doctor response hit, so he took off his seatbelt because there was traffic, so he saw it happen. He ran out and he gave me the chest
He
compression
started working on
Yeah.
you
to make sure that I was breathing and whatnot. So when they unstrap me, they tell me, "Where are you coming from? What's going on?" And I said, "From that ambulance over there." And something told me it's over there.
Yeah.
So I point, and as I look that way, the doors are closed, and it's still driving. Like if.
Okay, so the ambulance never stopped?
No. So they tell me, "Don't worry, we're gonna get you help." And they call an ambulance to come give me medical services because obviously I'm just bleeding out like crazy.
Was that the same ambulance that dropped you?
Oh no.
Or was it another company?
They call I think the Alpine one. Whatever
Okay.
the one is the one in the next.
Yeah, it's in between Alpine, yeah.
They call that one. So this one's coming against oncoming traffic to try to get me because obviously they're where I'm at.
Yeah.
Paramedics are running towards me. Do you think I want to get in another ambulance?
No, pues,
Hell no.
If I just flew the fuck
my
out of
man.
one, so they're running towards me.
No, plus your mental state, bro. Your mental state right now is thinking, "Fuck these people." Wait,
Yes.
Did you get help right away, or you were like face down for a while, like more or less?
Yeah,
like, how
like,
long?
uh-huh.
How long time?
It didn't take that long because the Border Patrol was running their checks every day because it's a
Okay.
Father's Day weekend, dude.
Oh, shit.
June 23rd was Father's Day weekend that year. So these paramedics are running towards me, and back then I used to love bodybuilding and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So
yeah, me too, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to love that, and
He just killed
and
his body.
so these dudes are running towards me. So basically, I square up in my stance and I swing at the paramedic. Like I just throw a swing because I'm not gonna let a paramedic touch me and put me in an ambulance. So I can
While
fly.
you're still tied up.
No.
No.
He's
I'm
feeling
already.
like they're not gonna help him.
I'm already standing up because
They're not gonna help him
they
too.
unbuckled me, and after they.
So
made
you were
sure-
able to stand up?
Yeah, I'm
and
standing
everything?
up, and they're like, "Where are you coming from?" And I'm like, "From that ambulance." So I'm already standing up. So as the other
Okay.
ambulance, as they tell me, "Don't worry, another ambulance is on its way for you." When they're running towards me is when I basically stand in my fight stance and I throw a swing. I swing a punch, and they duck it and they tell me they're trying to save your life. So
And you probably didn't even know how injured you were, right?
I don't even know how injured I am. It just the point is that I'm gonna fight to survive no matter what. Like you got it. Like if I just flew out of an ambulance.
Yeah.
And I took it as you tried to kill me, and you didn't succeed. Why am I gonna let you take me again to try again to finish me off?
Okay.
You know what
so
I mean?
that was your point. That was your state of mind at that
yes,
time.
like
okay.
like what you sent someone to
So
come finish it.
You're combative. You're combative
well,
right there.
well, yeah. I mean, you call 911 to save your life, not to kill you, right?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you accept help.
Exactly. So then they're trying to get me on a spine board, and since I used to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm still trying to defend myself all the way. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I learned the Kimura lock. So I'm Kimura locking the EMT.
No way.
I'm doing the arm triangle to an EMT, like doing the triangle, and they're telling me like stop. And I'm just nodding my head going like that. So they start taping me to the board, and they drive me to the helicopter pad that's around the corner.
Okay.
Helicopters are waiting. And it starts flying me to Sharp Hospital. Flies me to Sharp Hospital. They land me, and they're just rushing me into the
Or
through the doors. When the doors open, you know how it vacuums or whatever. So I sit up. I just sit up quick, and I turn like that, and I look at the lady that's holding on to a clipboard, and at that moment I knew I needed to get one identified, and I needed someone to that was family. So I said my biological mother's name and her phone number, and I just started saying it like crazy, saying her name and her number. Her name and her number. I just said it like a broken record, like a lot. Once I finally saw that she decided to write it down, I just felt safe, and I just laid back. I just laid down on the Gurney, and I fell asleep.
Okay.
You went into your coma.
I went into a coma.
How long were you in a coma?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
About 3 weeks, dude.
Okay.
So no, like you ever heard of people like in comas? Like, is it? I mean, I don't know what is it like? I mean,
I've been in multiple comas since then because they've had to induce me into comas afterwards because of the damages that I sustained in that accident.
Okay.
It's a very deep dream. Like you're like in a very like vivid dream. At least all of the comas that I've been in, they're like very surreal dreams. Like you feel like if you're alive,
like it's happening.
Yes, like it. Yeah, like my first coma was very interesting. Like,
so you remember specific things
on the outside, even though I was comatose, I was able to move my fingers a little bit, and I could feel warmth of people touching my hand, and I could identify whose hand was touching me.
Can you hear at this point?
I was able to hear, and I was able to smell still. So when somebody would come and talk to me and tell me, "Hey, I'm right here. How are you?" I could still hear. I could smell people's cologne or people's scents, and I could feel like different. I know I will always remember how my father's hands felt. The man who raised me. So I knew whenever he was holding my hand, my biological father too. I know what his hand feels like. So I knew when he was holding my hand because I was able to have a little bit of finger movement, stuff like that. But while I'm in a coma, I was in a very, very vivid dream the whole time.
Okay.
That's crazy, bro.
And
this was 3 weeks of a coma.
3 weeks of a coma, yeah. And when my accident happened, I was about 175 to 180 pounds, and my muscle mass was my body fat was at 12% because I just dedicated my life to just going to the gym and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I wanted to compete and do stuff like that. And I had also wanted to start going to cooking school, but I hadn't found a way how I was going to fund it.
How to structure it,
how
and
to go and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I was thinking to myself, well, if I if I do MMA, maybe I can save up some funds to at least finance
Yeah.
Culinary school.
a culinary school. Yeah, because some people decide to take a military route, do a couple years, and then they
Yeah,
fund.
Yeah,
do their
and
thing,
use that
yeah.
to go to school.
Yeah,
and
so
do
you know what I
stuff.
mean.
So while you're there for 3 weeks, okay, you wake up.
I'm
okay?
comatose for 3 weeks, so I'm
You're 3
comatose for
weeks.
2 weeks. I
Who-
wake up.
Who's the first
The
person
first
that you
person
see?
you see.
As soon as I wake up, the first person I see is my mom reading a magazine,
Okay.
and she's just sitting in the chair in my hospital room.
Is your biological mom?
Yeah, my biological mom. She's opening a
Magazine.
magazine, and
Mhm.
she opens it and she looks and she just says, "You're awake."
Yeah.
And I'm all intubated.
Mhm.
There's every life support machine is placed on me except for the heart monitor or whatever it's called, the heart machine. And I just nod my head like this, and then she smiles, and then she's like, "What happened?" And then I I just told her, she said that I signed something to her, that I gave her like some sort of hand gestures, and I signed something, and that I did this motion like that, and then that I like closed my eyes and went back to sleep, and then we woke up again. I don't know, like 30, 40 minutes later, and I was finally already like fully.
Intubated, or
Yeah, fully. I was already like fully awake out
Oh,
of like
okay,
the
okay.
coma. Like I guess my body finally woke itself up.
Mm-hmm.
So after when I'm finally fully awake, and I'm reading the whiteboard, and it tells me the date, my diagnosis, my current body weight, what's been done to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just start looking around, and I notice, yeah, there's all kinds of machines on me, and I look down at my arm, and I'm able to like reach at my arm like that, and I pinch my bicep, and I just pull so much skin up, and I just start crying because 3 years worth of bodybuilding work
Yeah.
is
So
gone.
you're losing it, yeah.
It-
In,
no,
three,
it-
in
no.
3 weeks.
It was gone because when you're structuring yourself eating from 3,000 calories or so, and you're eating to basically build up your body, to knowing that you've been getting fed and insured through your nose
Yeah.
on a drip.
All liquid, yeah.
Yep. So
Okay, so you're there, 3 weeks open. 3 weeks in,
I'm-
you wake up.
yeah, and then I'm just seeing that it says left bone,
Density.
left crane. No, it says left
Cranial.
cranium, removal.
Wait,
Right.
Okay. So what were the procedures done to you? Like,
Okay.
which ones were they?
So what ended up happening was when I show up to the hospital, they put me through the tube to scan me, like I think it's the MRI,
MRI
one.
tube,
The MRI tube me, and my head's filled up with blood,
Okay.
and every like second or two the slide changes.
Mhm.
And I hear this all from the records from
The way they were explaining it to you and all that
Yeah.
as they go. Okay.
there's a massive clot the size of like a baseball on my right hemisphere.
Mhm.
The next slide happens, and the clot is on the left hemisphere. But the slide didn't, from slide to slide, it didn't show where it traveled.
Mhm.
Did it go through the front? Did it go through the top? Did it go through the back? Did it go under?
Well, once the I've seen this on medical shows, medical podcasts, and all this. That once the brain it starts se hincha,
Swelling.
it
Mhm.
starts swelling. They need to cut out a piece of the cranium so it could breathe.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they
That's
might have-
that's
might
done
have
to
that.
ease the pressure.
Yes.
To ease the
to
pressure
relieve
in there,
pressure.
yeah.
Yes. But so when I ended up saying, thankfully, I said a name and phone number, right?
Mhm.
So they do call her up. She shows up and she gets a advance directive and power of attorney over me, And the first thing that they're asking her is he an organ donor?
Yeah.
Like before even like wanting to explain like, hey, this dude needs life saving procedures, he's gonna die. They want to know if they can harvest the organs of this 20-year-old man who looks like a chiseled out, perfect, experiment. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
Because the organs are worth you're worth more as organs than health insurance paying for all this procedure. That's what's fucked up about it. You know what I mean? So she's like, no, he's not an organ donor, but you're gonna save his life. And they take me into surgery, and they have to drill 2 holes behind my head on back here first to relieve pressure, and then after that they have to open up a big piece of my scalp on the left side and pull out with like a disc, I'm assuming, cut out like about a index card sized piece of skull so that they can pull out the blood clot and start closing all the veins, suture everything up, right? So that was what said right there, the left bone flap missing.
Okay. So after all this procedure,
They
you got through it. How long was the recovery on the procedure alone? Like off of that, were you able to walk?
Okay,
instantly?
So here's the kicker of all this. So after I'm awake, my doctor walks in. I'm intubated, like crazy, can't talk, nothing. And he walks in and he says, "Give up, you're paralyzed."
Wait.
Who says this?
The doctor, the surgeon, the neurosurgeon, he basically says, like, he walks in and just tells me, "Give up, you're paralyzed, your life will never be what it once was." And he looks at my mother and he says, "I suggest you just walk down the hall and sign him off to a convalescent home because his life isn't going to be anything anymore."
Dude, what the fuck kind of people are these ways?
So
the ambulance fucks you up, and they tell you who says you're gonna make it to the hospital. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
and then I'm already feeling sad that I'm missing so much body weight already, and whatnot, and I have a breathing tube down my throat, so I can't even tell them you're wrong. Because since I woke up, the first thing I tried to do was move my legs, so I could move my legs. I'm not paralyzed, but he wanted me to believe his diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because if I end up permanently messed up, then he keeps getting money. Because have you ever thought about how nowadays doctors don't sell you a cure, but just treatment? Because a patient cured is a patient lost.
Yeah,
they
bro.
suppress it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you'll get medicine for something, but it'll mess up other organs. So then you have to come back and get the other organs fixed. But that other organ medicine messes up the organ you're already getting work.
So now you're in recovery.
So I'm in recovery, yeah. So I can't say nothing to him, and I'm like, okay, cool. You're calling me paralyzed. I can't say nothing back to you.
Okay. After that, you start walking, right? You start moving.
I don't start walking. They keep me on the bed because he's saying he's paralyzed.
Okay.
So, they decide to unintubate me because if I'm already awake, he should start learning to breathe on his own. So when they unintubate me, a couple of times my breathing starts collapsing because my lungs aren't used to me breathing by myself, you know?
Of course.
So my breathing collapses a few times and they have to rush in, and I don't know what they had to inject in my IV lines or whatever to wake me back up so they'd intubate me again and whatnot. So on the last unintubation that they do, I remember that they call an emergency to him, and he runs in and he's just staring at me as I'm gasping for air, like choking out. He stares at me and he stares at my mother and he says, "Next time this happens, I'm performing a tracheotomy on site."
Okay.
And I'm fading out as I'm hearing that. I know all these medical terms. That means you're gonna drill a hole in my neck on site without even knowing if you're gonna get it right or not, but to make me breathe. So this doctor doesn't even like me from the get-go. I'm feeling this since the get-go, right? So when I wake up after that one, I'm like, focus on breathing, learn to breathe. And I'm just being calm, breathing. So then I'm staring at the calendar and I'm telling myself, since I woke up from the coma, I'm telling myself, you don't turn 21 in this hospital no matter what. You won't. You will make a recovery. So after I'm breathing, I start asking for food because they're feeding me through my nose. So they're bringing me food to eat. So they remove the
So at this point, you could eat solid food.
Yes,
You're-
yes.
You're able
So,
to swallow,
yes.
chew, and
So basically, the only chains left I have on me to this hospital is a internal catheter for urination,
Mhm.
a diaper, and an IV line. So I'm telling myself there's 3 chains left to this bed, 3, and I can tell if it's day or night through my window in the back because of sun and
yeah, bright or dark.
So,
So this piece of scalp they removed,
they place it in my hip.
and how
In my
long is
abdomen.
it? How long did they leave it there for?
They left it there for 6 years.
What's the purpose of putting that scalp in your body though?
So-
Keeps it alive, bro.
Keeps it alive and preserved,
regenerates.
and your body won't lose recognition to it. Because if they
Oh.
put it in a jar with whatever
It'd be a
fluids,
foreign object
Yeah.
and it'll fight it.
when if they were to place it back,
Yeah, your body could reject it.
and if my body rejects it, I mean, I don't want to say I'd end up probably like Mars attacks, but they
Yeah,
might
but-
end up having to cut out more of my skull and
To do the same
Como
now.
Zuno.
And it,
to.
Oh, sorry.
That's just funny, bro.
so so this whole time, you got this.
There's just a skin.
exposed?
It's just a piece. It's just my scalp. It's just my scalp.
An
So you
indention,
can,
so that you
so
know
you can see like a little indention. So it looks like it look. You know
But you're
how?
wrapped around, right? You're wrapped with gauze and everything.
Oh.
It's not out in the open, obviously.
They just stapled back. They just stapled back the.
Oh, your
the
skin.
The
Okay,
skin
the
flap.
scalp.
So basically, you know
Hay un
how.
hueco, pues.
Like como si te cayó la mollera, kind
Simón.
of, but on the side.
Uh-huh.
So I just had to.
So your hair didn't look good.
No, there was just like a little indentation, kind of like Gumby, the green clay doll.
Ay, wait, now I'm picturing Gumby, sí,
You know,
cierto.
the little indentation, right? And
Could you do the slide? Like the
so then
El Zuno es el pokey.
so then they start bringing me food and stuff like that, and I'm just
So when do you start walking, bro?
so I'm looking at this is when I decide that I'm gonna walk. So I'm looking at the calendar, and July's almost over. And I'm
28th to July.
June 23rd.
Okay.
So July's almost over, right? And I'm just decide one day that none of my family is in the room, and my nurse isn't here, and I'm like,
You're
you
alone.
know, and I'm like, you know what?
I'm gonna try something.
I'm gonna go pee. And I just say that to myself. I'm gonna go pee. And there's a restroom in my hospital room because I'm in the one where you're supposed to stay there probably forever, you know? So I grab the internal catheter that's placed in me. I grab it
No.
and I don't know how much pride, how much will, how much courage I have in me or what, but I grab that line,
No.
boom, pull it out. My whole body just goes like in a shock of kind of in pain, but I get it and I drop it on the bed. So I grab my IV pole, and that's the first time I step onto the fucking floor. And así como like Bambi, dude, in the snow, all jittery. I lost so much weight. I'm walking slowly to the restroom to go pee because I wanted to pee. Standing up peeing. Nurse walks in with, I think, breakfast or lunch. Starts screaming out code blue or green that the patient's missing. And I turn around and I'm like, no. I'm
over here,
I'm over
bro,
here.
in
I'm
the
over here. I'm
restroom.
peeing. And she's like, how? And I said, because I need to use the restroom and I'm not using that catheter no more. Call your doctor and tell him that I have a straw for him for his McFlurries. I straight up tell her like that.
Lemon flavored.
And then
No way. I think it's dick flavored.
and then so then I walk back I get back slowly. It takes me like, a good at least like 3-4 minutes to get there slowly back to my bed because I'm not gonna let her help me. Like, I'm pissed. So I get on the bed. She comes back with food, and I'm just sitting with my arms crossed, all mad. And then the doctor comes in, and the doctor's like, "I heard you walked," and I'm like, "Yeah."
I not only walked, I moonwalked,
And he's
motherfucker.
like, and he's like,
Yeah, Mr. Paralyzed. That guy
and he's
with-
like, and he's like, but you're not supposed to be walking.
no, boy, I am.
Well, you're not supposed to be a doctor.
And I looked.
Motherfucker.
I looked at him and I told him, "Who said I'm not supposed to be walking? Your diagnosis, or who?"
Mhm.
Because
Who gave you your degree, Dr. Dre?
I told them because I told them because while I was comatose, what happened to me in my coma, I was told that everything was gonna be okay and that I'd go back to being how everything was gonna be. So why don't you go
Fuck
why
yourself.
don't you go get your degree from your office,
Yeah.
go back to your college, and tell them that they were wrong and they wronged you because
You don't know shit.
you lied to me
Yeah, 'cause you don't
that
know
I'm
shit, güey.
paralyzed. So he walks away from me and he comes back in like 30, 40 minutes and
And
he's
he tries
like,
to hit you with a bat so you can be paralyzed.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Let him talk.
he's like, I'm relieving myself of my medical duties of you, and I'm transferring over my file
to another doctor.
another doctor.
Yeah.
And as I'm there, one of my uncles is staring at me, and he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, it's because I walked, and he doesn't want me to walk, so he's scared now." And he's looking at me, and he's like, "That's some malpractice stuff." And I told him, "I don't care what you want to call it, but I'm not turning 21 here, and I'm not gonna let you guys trick me that I'm fucking paralyzed. I'm not turning 21 here."
Okay,
So-
now that everyone knows that you can walk,
Mhm.
the doctor that said you were never going to walk, you can be paralyzed, give up.
Mhm.
He knows.
So there's
you have
just-
a new doctor that knows that you can walk now, which your diagnosis was you're going to be paralyzed. You got your parents there.
there.
So now what's going on?
Also, they were saying that I was supposed to get. They're also saying his left eye might need to get removed because his cornea and his retina is
Ruptured?
is detached, and also they were drawing a whole bunch of blood out of one of my arms that I was getting a lot of DVTs. And
Okay.
they were drawing blood without needing to because I have an IV line.
Yeah.
But they were drawing it out of the veins. So
Yeah.
so my mother had noticed that they're probably just trying to collapse all the veins in my
veins.
arms to do an amputation, like to basically leave me disabled. Like no matter what, they were trying to disable me one way or another before
Okay, so now you're walking, now you're doing all these things, or I mean, yeah.
she's like no
what's going on?
she's like no more blood tests on him.
After that, you go home.
No, they're doing physical therapy now because
Okay.
all that's left to do is physical therapy of can you like get him to walk,
Yeah.
get him to do all that. So August the 6th or 7th hits and they're like, we're gonna release you. And I'm like,
You're walking already?
because I'm already
Okay.
walking,
Yeah.
eating.
Dude, as soon as they fucking see you walk,
Oh,
they'll
yeah, bro.
release you, bro.
So they released
So
me, right?
you get released, bro.
I released. They get
After
released.
all this time,
Like-
okay, what's going on between, I don't know if your family or you with this ambulance company that
I get
made this happen or made,
Is litigation already starting or no?
yeah.
yeah.
like,
Oh
what's
yeah.
going on, bro?
And an investigation had already started and all that.
Before you got out of the hospital.
Before I got to the hospital, they had already started some paperwork and all that stuff like that against that
Mhm.
company. But the first thing I did is as soon as I got out of the hospital, I just asked, "Can I borrow a phone?" And they lent me a phone, and I call me and Zuno's mother, and I call her and I tell her, "Hey, ma," and she's like, "¿Qué pasó, mijo?" And I tell her, "Get the pot ready and make some menudo rojo." And
Yeah.
she's like, "¿Qué pasó? ¿Por qué?" I said, "Well, I'm out of the hospital. My birthday's in a few days."
Hell yeah.
And she's all happy, and everyone's just like saying, like, "Thank the Lord,"
Mhm.
praising Jesus and everything.
So
That's what the first thing I needed and wanted to do was go eat some bread menudo at my grandma's house with my grandpa and grandma,
Yeah.
you know, our mother and father. And
Yeah.
that's what I did for my 21st birthday, dude.
well, at least you were out.
That's
shit,
what I
dude.
wanted.
So
That's-
what was
that's-
an ordeal of what? I want to say
From them
6
saying
months? No.
maybe
Once-
maybe 45 days or less. From
Yeah, because it's the end of July.
a diagnosis where a doctor is saying he has a 5% chance of surviving this. If he wakes up, he's going to be paralyzed from the neck down.
Mhm.
If he's not, he's going to be from the waist down paralyzed. He might be stroked. He might not. The condition of his brain physically, what I saw in there, you're lucky if he's going to wake up having more than a 3-month-old baby's memory or brain capacity because of all the damage he has.
And all that was proven wrong.
Of
Okay.
course, güey. He's like, yeah, my man.
Yeah, exactly. Aquí estás, güey.
Aquí
No,
estoy,
bro.
güey.
Todo eso le pegó al Javi, güey. Whatever you said, that's what he
Yeah.
has, bro.
So,
Like,
Ahorita se tiene que ir para allá, chupar un
so-
chupón.
sí,
So
güey.
the only besides all the physical damages I sustained, I ended up with epilepsy because
Okay.
I damaged the node in the brain,
Mhm.
size of a popcorn kernel by your ear. I nicked it during the accident, so that's what sends the signal for you to have a.
It messes up all the synapses
All
and
right,
all
bro.
that.
Yeah,
crap,
so-
yeah.
Let's get into the good stuff. Wait, what about the litigation? Like, what was the process?
Legally, what did you do?
Well, legally, what
you have
happened?
to do?
Did they want to put it on you? Like, hey, you fucking escaped? Or
Oh, well, basically, when they start doing the investigations,
Yeah.
right? They said in their defense, he unbuckled himself and jumped.
dude, I figured that much
Yeah,
way.
but-
That was their excuse.
No, but how are they gonna even prove that way when the two guys are driving way? They're in the front way. Nobody's even watching them way.
So basically, the team of attorneys we hire out of Beverly Hills, and the PI decides to just go investigate it fully, right?
Mhm.
Goes to the site, goes to try to figure out who the paramedics were that were transporting me, who was my arresting off, all of that, right? There was never an arrest record of detainment.
Exactly.
So
That's what I told you. They
So,
never
so
got-
there was
They
never.
don't have to, bro. If they
No.
put you on hold for 72 hours, they'll determine if you're either crazy or
No, but-
or
But
if
that's
you need-
that's nothing to do with the police side.
I
That's
know.
all to do with the mental health side.
no. But I know, but
so-
the police fucking can give you that 72
But when they
hour hold.
no,
Yeah.
but when they investigate everything, it's just like, okay, so he just mysteriously showed up at behavioral health, and then the next paperwork that they find on me is that he's splattered on the fucking Interstate 8, and then the next paperwork is he's clinging to life, 5% chance of survival, and John Doe 1 is already taken, John Doe 2 is already taken, so my name becomes, to the hospital, till they identify me, I was named Canada Z. Canada Z.
Oh, Canada.
After John Doe number 2, the next name is Canada Z. So my name is called So I was called Canada Z till somebody came and identified me and said, that's my son.
Uh-huh.
Or that's my whatever.
Yeah.
So,
So what was the formal complaint, bro?
um,
Negligence on the.
um, just gross medical negligence or something like that. Like how
Why? Like, how can he just fall out of the gurney?
Yeah.
how did
of an ambulance? Like,
so they
what the
they're-
fuck,
they're-
bro?
they're- so they're exactly, and
Yeah.
their defense was always just he unbuckled himself and he jumped.
with the gurney and tied up.
So
Yeah,
so
I mean,
so
what
in
the
so in
fuck?
so in court, my attorney was like, okay, so you're saying he unbuckled himself and he jumped, and they're like, yeah, he unbuckled himself, he ran towards the door, he started jiggling
And
with
you
it.
took the gurney with you.
Yeah. and you-
No. He's like, they kicked it open.
Yeah.
Then he ran back to the edge of the cab.
And buckle yourself
no,
up.
No. And that I basically got like in a. This is what these paramedics are painting. Then that I got like in the marathon pose, and I took off running to leap out. And that's what. And so the attorney's like, oh, that's what he did.
So
And the attorneys and they're like, yeah, that's what he did. So my attorney says, okay.
So you were the
produce-
Flash for a little bit, bro. For
yeah,
like,
so my attorney says, okay, produce me his gurney he was on.
Mm-hmm.
Because every ambulance has an assigned gurney.
Mhm.
Where's the gurney he was on? If you're saying he unbuckled and jumped, where's the gurney? So se quedaron callados, right? Then they also investigated the ambulance I was on. That ambulance was not supposed to be in transport and commission. It hadn't
Shut
passed
the fuck
inspection.
up,
I
man.
wasn't, bro. I
It was
wasn't.
supposed to be out of service.
It was an out of service. It was an out of service ambulance, dog.
damn.
Oh, wow.
So the whole shit fell.
Case
their whole,
closed,
their
bro.
whole case fucking fell
Yeah.
fucking through all the fucking way. So
Hey, so-
after so the reason that this case took so long to start in court was because after that day, driver 1 and 2 quit their job,
Hey, check this out.
erased all of their
Check this
social,
out.
Get on the
Check,
mic, bro.
hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
so check this out. So
erased all their social media, erased all their bank accounts, erased their phone records, everything. So it took 2 years to find them. The first driver, how we found him, was that he was living in Redlands, renting a driveway and living in a motorhome. And because he wanted to open up a Ralph's Club card, he pinged for a PI to catch him. So a PI shows up to the address he put as whatever, let's say his address was like 123 B A Street or whatever, you know?
Simon.
So the PI shows up and he knocks to his motorhome. Who are you? Like, oh, I'm here to talk to you about something. About what? You know that one young man, this date, something like this happened? And like, you mean the motherfucker that unbuckled his ass and jumped? Oh, that's what you want to claim? Yeah, that's what he did. Oh, well, I want to tell you something. And he's like, what? What do you got to tell me? He's like, that young man is alive. And another thing, he's talking, and he remembers everything.
Mm-hmm.
You've been served.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and he served him to go to court.
Y le hizo así cuando le hizo, you've been served.
He's like, you've been served. Boom, and he serves them. And so it took a long time to find. Then they had to find the other paramedics. So they basically when they were asked to
Hey,
produce.
so you think that? I mean, well, yeah. You said they quit, no? Huh? You said they quit.
They went ghost.
They vanished.
They went ghost. So I don't know why.
So they were never brought back into court.
They showed up to court and they had to give their testimony, but they didn't have a.
Yeah.
When they were, and then we brought in an ambulance expert, right? And the ambulance expert got asked the year cab that I was getting driven in, and he said that year model has an eject button from inside the cab.
Okay.
That you don't need to open the doors through the back with keys. That you can just open up the door from inside the cab with a button, right? And then also the attorney asked the paramedic, the ambulance expert, what's the right height of an ambulance cab? And I think the inside height of the cabin, I believe it's like 5'7" or something like that. You know, he's like 5'7".
Yeah, you're like short.
And then the attorney just says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you guys know that my client is 6 feet tall."
Yeah.
So them
Like normal.
So them saying that he got in the sprint pose and then stood up and ran in a full running to leap. There's 3 inches of space.
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah.
Uh-huh. So it doesn't corroborate.
Hey, so getting down to the nitty gritty, bro. Like, how much are you gonna sponsor us with all the money you got? No, like, what was the outcome, bro? Like, it got fined, I believe. I mean, it could, like, you probably got some money, so you know.
Well, there was a power of attorney placed on me since I was unconscious, right, by my biological mother, and that's when everyone's true colors came into play.
Okay.
Blood and not blood.
Yep.
And she just told me, you had a mistrial, we lost. We didn't lose. But she said, your attorney felt bad for you and bought you a house because you lost. So since she had a power of attorney written on me that basically said, how she wrote it out, said, I am Pablo Hernandez. Outside of Pablo Hernandez, you cannot talk to him about anything without me being present. So basically,
You know what, wait,
with
this,
that,
this is a whole
with that she was
Different.
This is a whole different episode.
with that she was able to just figure out a way to just destroy me, right? So when she realized that all she had to do was call the attorneys and say, hey, Pablo needs money for this, and they couldn't question and call me to say, hey, is it true that you need $3,000 for clothes? Is it true that you need $8,000 for a hospital bed for your house? Is it true you need, they couldn't call me and ask me. So once she figured out, I just have to call and say Pablo needs and an amount. They send it over. So she just started draining the swamp, buying everything she wanted for herself and for her boyfriend. Because since my parents had gotten divorced and she gotten used to living a lavish lifestyle, once my father and her were divorced, money wasn't there no more. But now there was money from me and my accident.
Dude, so
Now, did you do anything to fix that once you knew what was going on?
I was unaware that we had won, but then once I started noticing that she didn't have money to give me even for food or for clothes, or couldn't give me a ride or nothing, yet my sister kept getting a brand new vehicle every 6 months, top of the line, and so did her. And her boyfriend started getting custom-ass Harleys all the time. And I was like, how do you guys have money, yet you're saying that the business is failing, is almost bankrupt? I didn't understand.
Okay.
So I started
putting two and two together.
Connecting the dots, just connecting all kinds of dots together. And then she would make dating so hard for me. Like every time I tried to get a girlfriend, she'd find a way to scare them away. And because she didn't want me to have kids in a way, you get me?
Yeah.
And she'd just tell them stuff like, "What are you gonna do if Pablo gets a seizure?"
Yeah, no, we're going into different
Yeah.
territory, bro.
So so you got the money. Your biological
Yeah.
mom is spending it.
Yeah.
This
So-
is now you know what's going on.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
So-
now you know what's going on.
So I end up I end up deciding that I want to better myself and get an education. And I find out that you can go to IVC, and even if you don't have
That's our community college here.
if you don't have like anything at all, that they can you can get financial aid.
Yeah,
So-
of course.
So I had to educate myself and figure all that out. So once I figure all that out, I realized that there's a bus that can take me for $1.50 there, $1.50 back. So I register myself online and everything to the computer, and I take off running one day at 7 a.m. to get on the bus to get to the school. And my mom started screaming, "Where are you going?" And I said, "To school." And she's like, "You're tripping out, no. And she starts chasing after me in her car, and I'm like, "No, don't follow me. I'm going to school. I want an education. And you keep telling me that I'm incapacitated or not, and I'm not."
So right now, are you in contact with your parents? You don't, no good contact, nothing at all. Dude, so we're glad you came out of this well.
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
That's the most important thing, dude.
That's the
like,
most important thing, way.
hey, wait, since
So-
not being able to walk, being
When-
basically
so-
brain dead.
I not brain dead.
No, but like he
Almost,
said
almost,
like
yeah.
a 3 year like this
Yeah.
guy iba a salir.
And then
Pero
5% chance to come
yeah,
out of
bro.
it. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then-
look at you.
So then at
Yeah,
IVC,
dude, you're doing good. So what are you doing right now?
right now, just being a dad.
Also,
like,
you do.
I have,
no mames.
yeah, well, I have daughters. I have daughters and stuff like that. And well, I'm a dad, and
That's awesome, bro.
I'm trying to open up like a little, a small little bistro or restaurant that I want to, because I've always loved cooking.
What type of food is your
I don't
bread and
I
butter,
can-
bro?
I can-
Anything?
I can cook anything except oven stuff. I'm not good at the oven.
Yeah,
Baking.
Baking is very hard. Like I've always said, even when I was in my cooking school, I've always said that baking is cooking's older brother.
Okay.
Because when you bake, you have one chance. You close the door and that's it. You cannot keep editing it
Yeah.
and doing anything to it. But when you cook on a stove, hasta el último, you can put whatever you want, change it if it's too salty, too sweet, too
Yeah.
spicy, to whatever, you can fix it. But
That's cool,
with
man.
the oven, you close the door and you just have to hope that que te salió bien. Like when
So-
you make a turkey, you can make it. All three of us make a turkey.
Sale diferente.
Sale diferente, yeah.
Especialmente el del Zuno. Ah,
But
no?
I want to open up. A restaurant, a little bistro, and I want to call it Culture, an ode to Grandpa's Kitchen, and I want to basically
It's a dedication to
a dedication to the father that we shared,
Okay.
and basically like every time we go over to his house, he would always be like, "You hungry?" I'd always say, "Yeah," even if you're not, because he knows he can make anything with whatever. Like,
And you know what they say,
Random ingredients.
how food brings people together, bro.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
food does
So-
bring. Look at how he brings this
Like,
guy together with
like
us
he would-
all the time, man.
He's been around.
and
But-
he could just craft anything out of whatever, and it was always amazing. And you couldn't,
Simon?
and
See, bro.
he wouldn't measure his stuff, dude. He wouldn't measure, like, so I would just stare at him, and like one of the things is that like I wish I would have written down a recipe,
Everything,
like
yeah.
or recorded him
Yeah.
cooking, but I didn't. But I just remember the flavor profiles because he inspired me to be a chef. Him and my nana inspired me to be a chef because I grew up in the kitchen. Like that's my man cave. Like I don't need an extra living room. Like
Yeah.
the kitchen is where you bring your family together. Like
Of
that's
course.
Cool, bro. So, hey,
So-
dude, we give you props, for coming out of this. You know,
And
for anybody that believes in what they believe, thank God.
yeah, I thank God. And then also like some people tell me like, don't you wish that would have not happened to you? But then I think to
But it
myself,
wouldn't have made you the man you are today.
I
bro.
wouldn't be who I am right now. Like I think that it's not it wasn't a curse, it was a blessing because
Yeah.
that accident would have not happened. I would have not met the mother of my twins because we met through an epilepsy post on Instagram.
There you
online.
go, bro.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have not met her. Like I would have not been more closer to my Catholic faith because when I was comatose, I didn't know who I was speaking to in my coma, but I was speaking the whole 3 weeks to a Catholic saint, and his name is Saint Charbel. And I had never seen him in my life before, prior to. So when I explained to my grandmother and to a priest and to everybody who I saw what happened, what I endured before meeting him, the priest told me, "You saw Saint Charbel. You have to go to a statue of him and give him a white ribbon and write thank you and your name in gold because he healed you." And
That's cool, bro.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, bro. That's
Hey,
awesome.
No mames, dude.
So-
Hey,
Hey,
chills right now.
I know, I don't
Yeah.
want, getting into the beliefs and all that stuff. That's, like I said, it's a different episode.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we want to thank you. We want to thank you, dude, for sharing your
For real,
story.
man. Thank
Dude, that
you.
was just, it's crazy, bro.
Thank you
And
for
we're-
opening up
and
and
we're
for
glad
having.
that you came to us, and
yeah.
and you don't have anything you want to promote, anything like
Well, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go to on Thursdays to the 413 Fitness Center at 7:30, they have a Bible class, and they have Bibles for sale, and they have the shirts for sale, and they invite
What's it called?
what reps for vets.
Reps for Vets.
Reps for vets.
Here's the
Okay.
card if you guys
Nice.
want to look at it, and they invite all walks of life, but he
Yeah.
likes to
they share their stories and stuff.
we pick he'll just choose a random chapter for everyone to read. We'll read one,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll just reflect on what if we've ever experienced something similar to what's in that, or what we feel about
that situation.
about that situation, about that
Yeah.
verse. Yeah, and it was just
yeah,
just
And is this only for vets or anybody
no,
can
anyone
go?
can
Anyone's
go.
welcome,
Anyone,
but it's just that's what it's called.
Anyone can go.
That's
but
awesome,
but it's
dude.
called Reps for
a little,
it's called
a little
Reps,
place to vent.
It's called Reps for Vets because the ones that run it are
Vets.
combat veterans, and he likes
Okay.
to help like ex-combat veterans who are going through all that like
Post-traumatic.
post-traumatic and
yeah.
trying to reintegrate themselves,
Okay.
or
Into
you never
society,
yeah, like I mean I don't want to ask like a combat veteran how many bodies do you have on you,
No,
because
no, of
if
course
she
not.
stand
Yeah.
traumatized to that, they probably need to find God,
Yeah.
or something, because
There's some
I-
clarification.
yeah,
of
and well,
everything.
he accepted me and became my friend because I told him once I wanted to be a Marine, and he asked me, "Why didn't you end up joining?" And I told him because my father told me I can't bury you. So once my father just told me those words, I called my recruiter and I said, "Shred my paperwork."
And what time? What days?
You
is
said
that?
you said Thursdays.
Thursday-
7:30.
Thursdays at 7:30.
Reps for vets.
Reps for vets at
Reps
the
for
at the
vets.
413 gym on Nathan Road.
Now, on that note, we're gonna close it down. We're gonna shut it down. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Subscribe. Please like. Look us up on YouTube. And thank you all for being here.
I want to give a little shout out to Henry Barrera and Misael Barrera at Top Notch Barbers. Two young guys doing their thing. Go ahead, visit them, especially on Wednesdays. They got $20 cuts.
$20, bro.
No, you know what? I'm sorry.
Dude, I
Hey,
remember
I
going-
mistake. I think it's $15 on Wednesday.
No,
$15
but
cuts on Wednesday,
I went
bro.
to Mex, bro. I would buy tacos. I would buy fucking.
Hey, bro, it looks like you didn't
Have you
cut
gone?
a lot.
Have you gone
okay?
to eat at the taco shop in Westmoreland called
No.
Taco Loco?
No,
It's at the
bro.
shed.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
Dude,
that place,
it's
too.
bomb right
Yeah,
there.
I've heard about that
I
place,
go
too.
there. I go there eat like twice a week.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, don't say their name unless you're getting paid for it, bro. You got anybody to shout out to?
Nah, I'm good, bro.
No, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, we're going to let it go, bro.
Pues ya las dio en la
You guys have a
mañana.
good night. We're going to
good
post
night.
this, all right, man? Thank you. Thank you for everything.